Ah, good day, my man. Lord Cardlin, requesting an audience with his lordship. Yes, please do check if your master is at home to callers. Pays to be cautious, doesn't it, old chap? Ah, his lordship is available. Capital. Yes, of course. I will indeed wait in this parlor. Your lordship. Mwah. It is delightful to see you once again. How did I find you? Well, despite your reluctance to reveal your identity when we last met, you were not so difficult to discover. When one knows where to look and... Why what? Why have I sought you out? I should have thought that was perfectly obvious. I enjoyed meeting you the other night, and I wanted to further our acquaintance. No. I see. If my attentions are unwelcome, I will, of course, not trouble you any further. I have a suspicion that is not the issue, though. Why is it not a good idea? You are widowed, are you not? And society affords widowers much more freedom than unmarried gentlemen. You have no need to fear censure. You are keeping yourself at arm's length for my sake. Whatever for? I can assure you I have no need to be protected. Come on, cease wringing your hands and be honest with me. Why are you so reluctant for us to further our acquaintance despite our obvious attraction to each other? You've been accused of having a hand in the death of your late husband. By whom? His family. Specifically your late husband's brother. What, Amberton? Well, I must confess that was not what I was expecting to hear. And did you? I apologize if I offended you. You understand I had to ask. I must say, I find even your indignation attractive. What have you done to me, man? I am not usually so infatuated. So, what evidence does your brother-in-law have to accuse you? I was led to believe your husband died in a riding accident. It has been covered up to protect the family name. And because the culprit has not been discovered. I see. And what are you linked to this? Right. What? Amberton is blackmailing you? He is bitter and resentful that you inherited the entire estate except the title. So he has threatened to go to the magistrate with proof you murdered your husband. Unless you agree to marry him once your year of mourning is over, so he can access the money he believes is rightfully his? Well, I already knew Amberton to be a colossal buffoon, having encountered him several times at that gambling hall he owns. My father was unfortunately addicted to piquet and faro, and spent more time there than he did at home with my mother. Well, he was addicted to any gambling, to be honest. I spent many a time dealing with Amberton because of it. A story for another time, I think, but I did not realize how thoroughly unpleasant Amberton was to do this. What evidence of you murdering your husband does he claim to have? Or, rather, has fabricated? You do not know. Perhaps it is just an empty threat, then. Good Lord. I do beg your pardon. There's more? Out with it, then. I might as well know everything. He has something of yours. Oh, something of you. I'm very intrigued. Please do continue. I see. So before you met your late husband, you mixed with a more bohemian crowd of artists. Indeed. Well, that explains the sketching paper at the ball to some extent. And you also often posed for some of the artists. Well, I fail to see the concern. Oh. You posed without clothing. Ah, I see. And Amberton has a picture of you? Pictures. They were completed as a series. How did he obtain such treasures? Your husband purchased them. Oh, for his own private enjoyment. Wise fellow indeed. So, how did Amberton get hold of them? Within days of your husband's death, he made it clear he was aware of them, that they were in his keeping, and if you did not do as he wanted, he would not only expose them to society, but also frame you for the murder of your husband for good measure? Oh, I am confounded at the level of perfidy and downright manipulative nastiness Amberton has displayed to you. Oh, yeah. Thank you for your courage in explaining this to me. May I ask one more thing of you? You are not considering capitulating to his demands now that your year of mourning is almost completed, are you? Are you? No, sweetheart. May I call you that? You must not do as he bids. He's a scoundrel of the highest order, and he can go to the very devil. Besides, how would I be able to court you myself if you plight your troth to that blackguard? No, of course I'm not put off by what you have told me. You are innocent of any wrongdoing, and while I do understand your concern about the ton finding out about those pictures, they're not exactly a tolerant, non-judgmental group of individuals, I can assure you, I think no less of you at all. You are incredibly handsome. I would have been more surprised if you were not a muse for the artist you mixed with. I promise you now, we will deal with this. Yes, of course I will help you. I think it's about time Amberton discovered the consequences of his disagreeable behavior. Yes, I know he's bought the vows of many members of society, so they're indebted to him. But I have the ear of a very powerful duke, who is also a magistrate, and who will be absolutely incensed to hear Amberton's behavior, and will wish to punish him accordingly. Will you promise me you will not agree to any of his demands while we identify a plan of action? I understand it is getting increasingly difficult to put him off now your year of mourning has drawn to a close, but it is important that you continue to. Perhaps in the meantime, we could get to know each other a little better. Would you join me for the evening tomorrow at the Vauxhall Pleasure Gardens? I would be delighted to have your company for supper, and, indeed you are quite correct, some of those walkways and groves can be very discreet if we wanted to, enjoy ourselves further. Very well. I shall look forward to the pleasure of your company. Now, at the risk of exposing myself as a dreadful glutton, I think I shall have another one of these delicious cakes.